I forgot to talk about what SaveState is. What's up, everybody? Welcome to the SaveState. I'm your host, Landon Barton, and joined with me is Seth Duncan and Derek Owen. And the SaveState is a channel about all the things you love in nerd culture. And today we're talking about game reviews and embargoes. And if you don't know what an embargo is when game publishers and developers send out early copies or early access to games. They send it to places like IGN or Polygon.com with a set embargo of you can't talk about this game until this set date, and that publisher sets that date, and most of the time it is
sometimes it's that date at this time.
Yeah.
Even.
Yeah.
Which a lot of times it's ahead of time. If a publisher seems to be confident in their game, they'll send out early release copies and say, okay, yeah, you can release your review a week before launch, and that usually is a sign of confidence that that publisher thinks that their game is really good. If publishers don't send out early release copies, sometimes that's a sign that the game isn't that great. The major issue right now is that Assassin's Creed Unity, for instance, was. I should also say these embargoes, they're not legal documents. They're not bound by law. If IGN or Polygon wants to release their review ahead of time, they can. The only problem is that publisher is probably not going to send their copy, another copy of their game to them ever again, because they've like dishonored that relationship with that publisher.
Broke the bro code.
Right. So specifically, Assassin's Creed Unity was released, and their embargo was at 12 p.m. on the release date of that game. So that's 12. It's been you could purchase it for 12 hours up to that point.
Yeah.
And reviews come out, some higher than others, but overall there's clearly a lot of issues with this game, and it seems like, I'm sure Ubisoft understood and knew that there were some issues with this. Is that embargo right? How do you guys feel about embargoes in general, and specifically relating to Assassin's Creed Unity?
I think it highlights a weird issue here. Like, I would love to sit down with one of the guys that makes the decisions, or girls, and discuss this.
Not with Ubisoft. It's too hard to render females for Ubisoft.
Well, based on the photos, it's too hard to render.
Seeing as how terrible the game was, had they taken the time to put females in the game, I really think it would have been too hard for them. There's so many other problems. I feel like that was too much.
Yeah.
Like, I want to know, at what point do you say, okay, somebody comes up and it seems like someone came up and said, we've got a broken game here, and someone went, okay, so what we'll do is we'll embargo the reviews until 12 hours after. Was it never discussed, like, maybe push the launch back? Like, if the game's really this broken, like, why don't we just push the launch back and have, like, an actual launch, like a good launch, instead of, like, we'll push it out and we'll try to patch it and we won't let anyone review it until 12 hours later. It seems like not only, like, a bad business move, but, like, actually stupid. Like,
well, the embargo from a business standpoint sounds like a really smart decision, because it is guaranteeing the midnight sales, because that's when a good portion of the games are bought ahead of time digitally, or a lot are bought at midnight or that morning. Yeah. So embargoing till noon means people aren't even going to know how good the game is. They're just going to go buy it because it's another Assassin's Creed game. So from a business standpoint, it's really smart. From a consumer standpoint, it really sucks.
Yeah. Embargoes absolutely do not help consumers.
Other
than if you have a really great title and you release it early and you have that embargo set to a week before the launch, then reviews come out and it's getting amazing reviews, and then people are excited. That hype builds, and then releases even that much bigger.
I think the thing is, from my standpoint, like, it's a good business move in the sense that you guarantee those sales, but that only really works once. Like, if you really burn your people, they're going to be shy the next time around. They're just going to wait. So it still seems like, somebody seems short-sighted. I think it just seems like.
It'll be interesting to see how the next Assassin's Creed turns out, because it's going to be interesting a year from now when the next one's released. Are people going to forget by then? Or are people still going to feel burned and wait to buy it?
I think part of that depends on how quickly Assassin's Creed Unity is fixed.
Yeah.
You know, if this is a lasting issue, I think people are going to expect a little bit more out of Ubisoft and probably not do day one purchases anymore.
But I do think the embargo practice will not stop until embargoes are seen as a telltale sign that the game is bad.
Yeah.
I think reviewers should start releasing until the time they're embargoed. Like, hey, we got this game, but we're embargoed till this day, and then boom, that's a red flag for everybody, and the entire industry knows, hey, this game's probably bad. We maybe shouldn't buy this right away. But until that happens, they're just gonna keep embargoing. I had no idea Assassin's Creed was embargoed until the day it was out, and they're like, oh, well, we were embargoed till noon.
I would say embargoes as a nature are not bad. because embargoes 12 hours after release, that is a terrible idea,
Yeah.
and that helps nobody. And embargo a week ahead of time of the release, that's totally fine, because especially if you're giving out, if that publisher's giving out digital copies of the games where they're maybe still working on it up to date, you want that embargo so that the IGN or whatever isn't releasing their thoughts on a game that's not finished yet.
Right.
So it keeps quality control that way. I think that's totally fine. But an embargo 12 hours after release is terrible, and that is a sure sign that something is wrong here, and that's just only hurting the consumer.
I'd love to see some of the online publications like become advocates for the consumers a bit more, in the sense of like maybe next year when the next Assassin's Creed comes out, they're like, hey guys, we're under embargo for this one, but remember last year when this happened? Like,
great.
because it would put a little pressure on the game companies to like maybe ease up a bit and try to pay more attention to this, because right now it's them against us and we don't have like an advocate for that. So
Ubisoft is getting a lot of flack from like 6 different angles right now.
Yeah, and Watch Dogs was bad too. I mean,
Yeah.
the game before this one was also had a lot of issues, so it's not looking good. 2 games in a row with a lot of issues.
yeah.
I really want the review, like Seth said, reviewers to start releasing how long they're embargoed to. I'd really like to see the information on every game, just to know, you know.
So what is the fix? Is that the fix? Is just knowing how long your embargo is on a game?
I think the real fix is for consumers to stop pre-ordering and waiting to buy the
It
game.
is.
Stop buying it right away.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's not. You can't make people do that.
No,
So, and the
it's-
more we keep doing this, the more they know they have guaranteed money by putting a title on a box, and they're gonna
Right.
keep doing it.
Is that kind of overall consensus between the three of us? That's
I think a combination of that and just having, like I said, from my standpoint, having the publications be a bit more on our side, as far as like, I mean, they may lose some favoritism from the companies, but if they push out and just say, hey, we're gonna tell these people that we're embargoed and let them draw their own conclusions and stuff, and just remind people that that's a thing, so you don't have the people blindly going out and buying games at midnight, you know.
Yeah, for sure.
Well, there you have it. That's our thoughts. I definitely fall under the category of don't necessarily buy your games day one if you're at all concerned about it. Wait for a review, even if it has to take 12 hours after release. Wait for that review.
Yeah.
Only pre-order if it's a collector's edition, so you have yours waiting. But don't buy it for 2 days.
Yep.
There you
So
go.
let us know what you think about embargoes. Thanks for liking, subscribing, and watching, and we'll see you guys next time.